What's going on, music producers? It's Curtis King at CurtisKingBeats.com, and you're watching episode 4 of Critique My Beats. This is the show where you, the producer, submit in your beats. You get a few critiques from the man himself. Wait a minute, why am I talking in third person? From me, Curtis King. If the first beat is fire, we move to the second one. If this first beat is not fire, we'll move to another producer. We'll give everybody an opportunity to advertise their beats, their websites, if you share them within your email, that is. I left in the last video a comment where I wanted to get your guys' opinion. You know, as you're watching this, I want you to keep this in mind that I will leave the opportunity there for some producers who are like, yo, I can't wait for you to randomly select my beat amongst these 537 beats that you have sitting in your email. I need priority. I need to at least get that second or third slot. I will open that opportunity. I was thinking about doing it at a $50 price point so that I can separate everybody who is really serious about getting these critiques. I'm not giving you a bunch of flutter. I'm honestly going to give you advice that is going to help you win in whatever degree that you want to win at, whether it's getting placement or TV sync license or whatever it is that you want. For future episodes, put that within your email so I know how to give you the correct critiques and help you move towards success in your own career. Enough talking. Y'all told me I talk too much, or some of y'all said I talk too much on these critiques after every beat. No, shut up. I'm still talking. It's called Critique My Beats. Go whatever your name is, My Beats, and then do that. Anyway, so we're on the first page. Don't be laughing back there about me talking too much. We're going to randomly, boom. Okay, Jakari Buford. Our beats from JK313. I didn't mean to put your government out there, but beats from JK313. What area code is 313? Detroit. Okay, I like to know what region that somebody's sending beats from so I can kind of understand more so the swing of your beats and really the sound that you're capturing and how to kind of approach this. Let's listen to it. You left me two beats. One's called Living and the other one's called D-Boy. So listen to Living.
Hey, JK.
Okay, JK313, you got me with a sample beat. You know I'm in love with sample beats. So as I listen to this, the first thing that I'm vibing with is really the chops. And I'm trying to vibe with, you know, do I recognize a sample? I like that you let that sample breathe. What other things do I like about this? I like how hard those drums hit when they first came in. I like, really just like the vibe that I get from this one. The only thing that I would say is that I wasn't immediately hearing an artist on this. I'm not gonna think of a few names if I really sit with the beat, but nobody immediately came to me. But aside from that, what I'll say is my only critiques of this particular beat, Living, is that I think that the drum pattern itself, as hype and as dope as that is, I think it may go against the groove, the original groove of the record. And I think that if you were going to go for more of an up-tempo, and I think it's really the hi-hats that's giving me that illusion, is that as I listen to the hi-hats and the drums with this sample, it's almost like you pulled the drum loop from another beat that was more of an up-tempo joint, and then you took the sample and you just kind of threw them together, and they were kind of like, I don't know, they kind of met halfway. But I feel like the groove that you had going on with the sample, the initial sample, I wanted you to have more of a laid back feel. That's what I was kind of expecting to hear. Only thing else from that, I would say the low end, I probably would have applied more sub frequency to the low end so it comes out even more and the beat feels warmer. Also too, there's two notes that I noticed that boom, boom, boom. I think those two notes, you may want to go recheck it, take it to a higher frequency and see if those are in key. Because I think that on a very subconscious level pushes people away from beats as they're listening to it on big speakers. It'll come blaring through. So that's my first initial thoughts. I like the beat. I definitely want to hear a second one. So let's go to D-Boy 99.
Hey, JK.
right. Initially, I like the piano work. I like the kick and the snare. I like the drum work. You know, I'm heavy on the drums. I like the tempo of this record too. I think it can cross over to many different areas around the US that it's appealing to. Like, I can hear many different artists from different regions on this. I wouldn't necessarily hear, I guess, TV sync licensing for this one, but I definitely could hear sort of a Midwest rapper on this. Nobody comes to mind immediately when I hear this. And sometimes that can be a good thing. Sometimes that means that you have such a unique sound that there is an artist out there with, you know, your beats has their name all over it, and that's somebody that you can build with. But that's one thing. I think that the synthesizer blip sound, you probably could have chose one of better quality to kind of push that forward, or even ran that through a reverb so that it feels like it has a little bit more life. It sounds right now very flat as an instrument in there. But I mean, overall, I enjoy both of these beats. I think that you do well with up-tempo trap based upon these two beats. I like this sound. I think it's something that a lot of people can relate to from many different regions. But many props to you. I wish you would have left your social media information. So what we're going to do, we're going to randomly pick, because I'm not seeing any names that pop up to me. Let's go to Galaxy Beats. I feel like I've seen that name before. Galaxy Beats, you left me with two beats, two YouTubes. One of them is called Ninja. The other one's called Monster. So let's go ahead and check you out. Galaxy Beats. Okay, you did a few interesting things here. I could tell this is, well, judging by this beat, I get the vibe of somebody that is probably within their first year, maybe first year, second year, I don't know. And I could say initially, I think that you had a winning loop with that boom, 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 boom. I think you had a winning loop with that. I think it's alluring. I think it's something that can draw somebody in. What kind of took me by surprise was how dry, that mute, quiet the whole beat down. I thought something was wrong with my equipment. As the drums and 808s and everything come in, it just becomes a clutter. The 808s kind of drown out a lot of the frequencies, and what you'll learn is the more you start to mix, the more you'll assign different EQs for different sounds so that they all shine where they're supposed to shine, right? Every sound is not supposed to be mixed exactly the same, and it sounds like this is all going through the master, and maybe you're just putting stuff on top of that. You want to let these sounds breathe. You want to experiment more with maybe some sounds that fill up the sound frequency, maybe some more pads or some deeper sounds, or just really some sounds that could bring out the vision that you had with this particular beat. You know, as I'm listening to it, I think that you definitely show potential with the way that you format the beat, but unfortunately, we're gonna go to another producer, my brother. I wanted to give you the most constructive criticism, but I also want you to find your way, you know, in the most natural way so that you progress into the producer that you want to become. All right, Five God. I know Five God. What's good with you, bro? How you doing? So Five God sent two beats through. Beats by Five God. We don't have a URL in here once again, unfortunately, but yet here we are. So you left me two beats. One is called Fly. The other one's called Ladies. And yeah, let's go ahead and listen to it. First one's Fly.
I love to fly. It's just you're alone, you've peace and quiet, nothing around you but clear blue sky. I
Okay, initially, I like the sample choice. I've actually used that sample myself, so I recognize that, you know, there are great potentials within that shot. I think it has a great vibe. I think it has one of those vibes that you would hear on sort of a track 7, track 8 on a J. Cole or like a Kendrick album or whatnot, something that you would hear, kind of a reflective bounce track. I like the warp that you put on the sample itself. Things that stood out to me initially, I didn't mind the snare. You know, I'm big on drums. The kick kind of bothered me a little bit. I probably would have picked a more punchier kick or a deeper tone kick that punches through. The 808 itself kind of clouded a lot of space that it probably shouldn't be clouding. When I say clouding, I mean that certain frequencies and the high frequencies of that sub are clashing with the sample that you use and that you warped around. Skit at the beginning was a nice touch. It sets the tone for the beat. I think that's great, especially if you're putting beats up for leasing, to set the tone for rappers that may be just beginning or rappers that are looking for specific concepts to fill out their project. I think it offers a lot of help. You know, it was interesting enough to where I want to hear another one, my brother. So let's listen to Ladies. I'm assuming this is for the ladies. Okay, another sample joint, another dope sample joint. I like the drums underneath the sample. I think that the bouncy feel immediately evokes a J. Cole type of beat to me as I listen to that. That's at least the way that I would market that, as a J. Cole beat. At first, when I heard the sample coming in, my initial thoughts was, I really wish you would have ran that through a filter, because I think it's exposing some of the stretching of the sample to where it's stretching a little bit further beyond its parameters. I think that maybe it's a little bit too slow and toned a little bit either too high, but that may be what you're looking for. So that's why I said initially I thought that, but then I held back on it because I said maybe that kind of adds to the vintage feeling of the sampling. I would like to hear more chops. One more singular chop that kind of like really brings together the emotion that you want the listener to have. I don't know what that sample sounds like, but I know there's something else that you can pull from to really drive it home. Like, don't get it twisted when you listen to some of these records with rappers that are rapping over sample beats. Just because it sounds like it's the same sample over and over again being looped around, if they do that, they take it through multiple filters when they're rapping over it, so it does not become monotonous. And I think having the same loop over and over again, somebody may be really vibing with this, and then they're asking the question the entire time, like a rapper's asking the question, okay, where you taking this? Where's it going? Where's it going? Okay, where's it going? Those are my initial thoughts from it, man. Excellent work. I think we could do one more. Casso FDG. You left me with 2 beats. Yeah, produced by Casso FDG. You left me a SoundCloud link. Dope. So I could plug you towards the end. No anime. Let's go to that one and then Ashes. Let's listen to this first. Okay, so anime, I kind of get the vibes of sort of music I guess you would find melodically within an anime. I don't watch many, but for the ones I see, I know that it has a lot of the instrumentation it seems that you're using in there. That's the initial vibes that I got from it. Now, mix wise, I think could definitely use a lot of tweaking. I think the lead instrument, I like when you started taking it towards the end of me listening to this, where it went sort of through the warp, because I think that where inexperience shows, transitioning and putting filters can kind of buy you some time when somebody's listening to it, because they don't get to hear the inexperience maybe in your mixing or whatnot. So sometimes that helps out to run it through those warps, but that's not going to solve the bigger problem, which I think is mixing. And one thing I could tell you about the drum loop that I heard, you let that 808 run this beat, and you let it run your pattern. You're the producer. So I was always taught, you're the producer. This is your beat. Don't let an 808 run your beat. And what it feels like is, as I'm listening to this, it feels like you let that 808 just go as long as it went. You let it go as far as it went, and then you add another 808. It just didn't feel like you had control over those 808s. To me, when I listen to 808 slides and I listen to somebody really utilizing the 808, I know how much experience you have with beats, at least with this style of beats, when I'm listening to how you control your 808. And this did not seem like somebody who had a control over the 808. It's somebody who just let it ride and just kind of like, fill in space. And that's not the way you want to approach it. I'm kind of on the fence about hearing another one, but Castle FDG, let's go ahead and run another one. Let's go to Ashes. Had it for a second, man. At the 38-second mark, this beat started getting really interesting. What you did, like that melody, at first when I heard it, was an ear sore. It was too much in the high frequencies. You didn't duck some of those sounds that, when you think about people listening to music, there's certain things that you as a producer would tolerate that a listener's not going to tolerate. There's certain things that even a rapper will tolerate for a certain time period, and you got to duck that sound or make it make sense, make it special. The high frequencies wasn't making any sense in the very beginning with that other drum loop that you use. I like the drum sounds. I think that could be an entirely different beat. When you went to that trap, to me, with that, to me, I could hear like somebody from ASAP rapping over something like that, right? I could hear like a Ferg over that. I could hear even like a ASAP Rocky featuring on that. That's what I heard. But then the 1 minute mark, you start exposing your inexperience, and I start to hear it within your piano work. Pushing one key because you think that that's in key, it works for a little bit, but you got to be strategic about how you do it. And the way you did it right there, it just sounds like somebody who pushed one key, found it was in one key, and didn't want to take the time to go add other keys to make it make sense. It doesn't evoke a mood. It takes you by surprise, and not in a good way. I think that if somebody were to pick this beat, I'm telling you what they're going to do with your beat right now. They'll take this beat, they'll delete the beginning drum loop. I don't know what's kind of going through your mind. This sounds like a beat that you make at like 3 a.m. You're like, I think I got enough for me to make one more beat. That's not an insult, but that's just how it is sometimes for producers. It sounds like that one last beat that you just be like, before I go to sleep, I'm going to knock this one out. Because there's a lot of sounds that if I would have made this beat at 3 a.m., I know I'd have woke up and been like, okay, I got to change some things. But I think with somebody who, if they took this beat, this is what they would do. They would take that 38-second mark where things got special with the 808s and that high sound, and then they would basically run that for about 2 or 3 minutes and then bring some musicians in, maybe to play certain sounds around the beat, maybe a string arrangement, maybe actual piano keys that make it even more dramatic. But they'll take that sound, that 38 seconds, and they will build an entire beat around where that occurred, and they'll take out certain sounds that you had in there. But I think you show promise with your drums, a bit of the arrangements on the first one. At the end of the day, I don't want you to sound like my beats. I want you to sound like your beats, and only you know what your vision is. So keep pushing at it. Keep finding what it is within your lane. Don't be afraid to take, if you ever come across something, because I could tell when you got to that 38-second mark, it felt good. It's almost like you were buttering people up until they got to that. When it got to that point, that beat felt good, didn't it? So that being said, go with your gut instinct. It's okay to make mistakes. Keep making mistakes. But in this beat, I would have just built everything around that high string sound or whatever that is. Or that, I don't know what the sound is. And the 808s and the snares, I would have built an entire beat around that and just took sounds out and drums in and out. And this would have been a wrap. So those are my initial thoughts. I would say that definitely work on the mixing of the 808s. Bring out more of that sub. Thank you, Casso FDG, for submitting your beat. For those of you that want to get in touch with Casso, go to soundcloud.com/user-CASSO. You can see it right here. Hope you get these. Thank you if you do. Not a problem, brother. Thank you for submitting those off. So, yeah, that was that. Thank you for everybody that submitted your beats. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to critique your beats. If you would like to get your beats critiqued, please send them to CURTiQUEmybeats@gmail.com. As you can see, we got like 530 something submissions, so we got a lot of work to get through, but we're going to get through it. Once again, this is Critique My Beats, and I am Curtis King at CurtisKingBeats.com. Peace. Please subscribe to the channel below, Curtis King at CurtisKingBeats.com.